1. A challenge in the dark. The sun was sinking beneath the horizon, casting long shadows across the quiet streets of San Diego. The city, known for its sunny beaches and laid-back lifestyle, hid another face behind its walls, the world of the military. The United States Anti-Terrorism Unit, a TU headquarters, sat like a steel fortress near the city's outskirts, a stark reminder that there were dangers both foreign and domestic, and some of them lurked closer than most people knew. Inside the compound, soldiers were gearing up for the next operation, running drills and preparing for an unknown threat that had just surfaced overseas. But outside, something far more familiar was about to stir the pot. A group of bikers, dozens of them, rolled up to the gates of the compound, engines roaring. The riders, all clad in leather jackets marked with skulls and cryptic symbols, had come for one thing: trouble. They were the Hellbound Riders, notorious for their violent clashes and illegal activities that had spanned from coast to coast. But tonight, they'd picked the wrong target. Sergeant Major Jack Steele Callahan had seen his share of violence, but he wasn't one to let minor annoyances escalate. Not on his watch. He sat in the operations room, eyes fixed on the monitors as the team monitored the bikers' movements. "Steele," said Lieutenant Sarah Hawk Jennings, her voice cutting through the static of the comms. "We've got a situation. The Hellbound Riders are outside. They're not backing down." Jack didn't need to hear more. He knew the type. "Stand by," he said. He stood up from his desk and moved toward the weapons locker, the soft clink of his boots echoing in the hallway. His mind raced as he grabbed his vest, checking the sidearm holstered at his waist. These bikers were trouble, but they had no idea who they were dealing with. As he approached the compound's back gate, his team was already in position. The bikers hadn't yet crossed the line, but it wouldn't be long. Grizzly, the leader of the Hellbound Riders, stood at the front of the group, a hulking figure with a deep scar across his cheek. He was laughing, a guttural sound that came from too many years of fighting and taking what he wanted. "Hey, soldier," Grizzly's voice boomed, amplified by the mic he wore. "You think your little base is safe from the real world? You're living in a bubble, and we're here to pop it." Jack watched him through the surveillance cameras. His heart rate remained steady, calm, controlled. He knew Grizzly. He had encountered men like him in the past. Men who thought they could intimidate their way into anything. But Jack Callahan wasn't like other soldiers. He had a reputation for handling situations before they spiraled out of control. Without a word, he tapped a button on his comms. "Hawk, get ready to back us up. I'll handle this." Chapter 2: Showdown. As Jack stepped out into the open, the bikers took notice. The loud hum of engines died down as the men and women in the group turned to face him. Grizzly gave a mocking salute. "Well, well. The big man himself. What's your name, soldier? You know, I'm starting to think you're not the average grunt." Jack's eyes met his. "I'm the guy who's going to send you home. You came here for trouble, but this isn't the place for it." Grizzly laughed again, turning to his crew. "You hear that, boys? The soldier thinks he's some kind of hero. Let's put him in his place." Without warning, Grizzly charged forward, a massive knife gleaming in his hand. Jack remained perfectly still, his posture relaxed, knowing that speed and precision mattered more than size or strength. As Grizzly reached him, Jack pivoted on his heel, his hand snapping out to disarm the larger man in one smooth motion. The knife flew from Grizzly's hand, landing several feet away. The crowd of bikers gasped in disbelief. Grizzly lunged again, but Jack was already steps ahead. He grabbed the man's arm, twisted it behind his back, and slammed him into the dirt. The air was thick with the tension of a fight that had barely started. The bikers hesitated, unsure of how to react. It wasn't every day that a seasoned soldier dismantled their leader with such ease. "Get him!" Grizzly roared, his voice strained from the pain of his twisted arm. The bikers surged forward, but Jack was already in motion. He used Grizzly's momentum to throw him off and delivered a powerful kick to the chest of the first rider who charged at him. The biker crumpled to the ground, gasping for air. Jack's training kicked in. His every move was calculated, precise. He twisted, dodged, and countered with fluid motions. Another biker tried to take him down with a wild swing, but Jack sidestepped and struck him in the ribs, sending him stumbling backward, clutching his side. "Steele, backup is 5 minutes out." Hawk's voice crackled through his earpiece, but Jack didn't need them. He was already handling it. Grizzly tried to rise, fury and humiliation written all over his face. "You think you're special? Soldier, you think you can take all of us down?" He spat, the bitter taste of defeat on his tongue. Jack didn't respond. He wasn't in the mood for banter. With one quick motion, he disabled the next attacker with a pressure point strike that sent the man crashing to the ground, unconscious. As more bikers lunged forward, Jack fought with the precision of a professional, disarming and incapacitating them one by one. A few of them backed off, realizing that they were outclassed. Jack gave them no quarter. He disabled their bikes, taking out the engines with ease so that they couldn't make a quick escape. Grizzly, the last man standing, looked around at the wreckage of his gang. His face flushed with rage. "You think you've won, huh? This isn't over." Jack wiped the sweat from his brow and adjusted his uniform. "You came here looking for trouble. Now you've got it. But this is where it ends." Chapter 3. The aftermath. The bikers, disarmed and scattered, slowly backed away, realizing they had made a grave mistake. Grizzly glared at Jack, but he didn't dare challenge him further. He knew when to cut his losses. As the last of the bikers was rounded up and taken into custody, Jack stood in the center of the compound, watching the team secure the area. Hawk approached him, shaking her head with a bemused smile. "You sure showed them who's boss," she said. Jack shrugged, wiping the dust off his hands. "They picked the wrong fight. This is the Anti-Terrorism Unit. We don't just fight terrorists. We fight anyone who thinks they can mess with us." "Are you all right?" she asked, concerned. Jack nodded, his face hardening. "I've been in worse situations." Just another day on the job. Epilogue. The lesson. As the hellbound riders were escorted out of the area by local law enforcement, the news spread like wildfire. People in the city started talking about the soldiers who had put the notorious bikers in their place. And Jack Callahan's reputation as a soldier who could handle any threat only grew stronger. The hellbound riders wouldn't be back. They'd learned that some people in this world couldn't be intimidated no matter how tough you were.